This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Today, the third day of Tishrei, is Tzom Gedaliah. The assassination of Gedaliah was the last ember, the last ray of hope that the Jewish people had in terms of a settlement in Yerushalayim, in terms of continuing some connection with the Holy Land. But the question that is raised and discussed in the Ben Yehoyada is that throughout history there have been assassinations and murders of many great tzaddikim. Gedaliah wasn't the greatest tzaddik who was ever assassinated. Why do we specifically commemorate his assassination? And what's the connection between Tzom Gedaliah and the Asar Simei Tshuva and following Rosh Hashanah? Well, the Ben Yehoyada cites the Arizal, who says that on the third day of Tishrei, all the forces of din in Bina, of Malchus, are misgaber. Yesterday we spoke about how Gedaliah, the word Gedaliah, represents all the forces of din, of Elohim, and how Achikam also represents the various forces of din. But this is a day that is predisposed to all Gevura being misgaber. Now, on the first and second day of Tishrei, which are Yimei Din, those are also days of din. But at least on those days we have the shofar to imamtik the dinim. But on this third day we don't have shofar anymore, and that is why Gedaliah was assassinated, because it's a Yom Din. Says the Ben Yehoyada, according to this teaching of the Arizal, the force of din and the reason why Gedaliah was assassinated is alluded to in the name of the murderer Yishmael. Because the oisios of Yishmael are Eish al Mi. We know Midas Hadin in its Toikef is Eish. And on the third day of Tishrei, all the Midas Hadin was Nisgaber against the Bina. And we know the word Mi is a kinoi for Bina. And therefore, Eish was Misgaber al Mi on Midas Habina. That is the Ben Yehoyada's interpretation of what is significant about Tzom Gedaliah and what is significant about the assassination of Gedaliah specifically on this day. However, what's very interesting is, a little bit further on in the Gemara tells us that on the third day of Tishrei, Betelas ad kartam in shtaraya. On the third day of Tishrei, the mention of Hashem's name was removed from secular documents because the Yevana made a gzeira not to mention Shem Shamayim. And when the Chashonam prevailed, they were masakin that we would mention Shem Shamayim even in shtaros, and they would write in the shtar, B'shnas kach v'kach liyochen kai gadol lekel elyon. And when the rabbis heard, they said this is not a good idea. Tomorrow someone's going to pay back the debt, and the shtar is going to be put in the garbage, and Hashem's name is going to be profaned. Well, says Ben Yehoyada, this is not coincidental that a great miracle happened on the third day of Tishrei. It was keneged the tzara of the assassination of Gedaliah, which was a tremendous chilul Hashem, and it came al yidei Yisrael atzman. And now on this day, Hashem wanted to give them rectification, so they were able to be mekadesh Shem Shamayim by removing the Shem Hashem from documents. This way, Hashem's name would not be defiled and profaned. So it was Zeh L'Umazeh. On Tzom Gedaliah was the assassination of Gedaliah, and says Gemara Rosh Hashanah Yud Ches Amud Beis, on that day also they were Mavatel ad kartam and shtaraya. They were able to remove Hashem's name from secular documents, preserving the sanctity of the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which the Ben Yehoyada sees as a tikkun for the Chil Hashem of the assassination of Gedaliah on this day. Wishing everyone an easy fast.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.